Alright, today we're going to be starting the basic graffiti lesson, and for mine I'm going to be using the bubble letters that were in the little packets that were on the tables. I'm going to be using my nickname, which is Cat. You can certainly use your full name. If it's a really long name, I would suggest using a nickname or shortening it. Please make sure that it is something appropriate for school. Alright, so I'm going to set this off to the side so I can look at it as my visual. I'm going to sketch this in with a pencil. And you want to make this really large. If you want to do this on scrap paper, I would suggest that. A lot of times what I'll do is you'll see me drawing in the air just to see if things are going to fit. And mine are, so I'm just going to go ahead and block those in. And it's going to be really light on the camera, so bear with me for just a second. And because they're bubble letters, you want them to be bubbly. One of the things that graffiti artists do a lot of is overlapping, and that really helps make it look 3D. It also makes them a little harder to read, and sometimes that's what they want. Now mine just fit, which is good, and I've got that nice and blocked in. Now at this point you can choose whether or not you want to outline this with a marker, or if you just want to kind of be a purist and go straight for the colored pencil, and that's what we're going to be shading it with. I'm actually going to use a purple permanent marker, and I'll show you why in just a few minutes. Well, I'll actually tell you why. I want to use complementary colors. And warm colors are my favorite, and the complements of the warm colors are of course the cool colors. So I'm going to be putting warm colors inside my letters and cool colors outside. Now I'm just going to do one letter on the video just for sake of time. So there's my nice outlined K. I'm going to slide that over so we can focus on that. Alright, and I'm going to be using, like I said, warm colors to color it in. So there's my warm colors. If you look at the color wheel, honk to you too. If you look at our color wheel, the warm colors are all neighbors on that side of the color wheel. Cool colors are opposite. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my darkest color on the bottom. Some people get a little scared at this point and maybe you want to start with a light color up here. That's fine. And I just realized that my pencil lines are going to get in the way, so I'm going to go ahead and erase those. I want it to be really super clean. Alright, so I'm going to start with my darkest color. And I'm kind of pretending that my light is coming from over to the right hand side, upper right. And you can color really hard with a color pencil, not so hard that you're breaking the tips off. But the harder you press, the darker it's going to look. Alright, I'm going to start getting really light because I want to transition into a different color. But you want your pencil to blend pretty well together. You can't use a blending stump or really use your finger to blend, so you've got to rely on the pencil to do the work, which for some of you that's going to be a tough task. Alright, so I got this nice and light, so I'm going to go ahead and transition into my orange, and I'm going to use it pretty lightly because I want it to blend in with the red. Now normally I would be going across the whole K to finish that whole thing in, but for the sake of time, want you to see where we're going with this. So I'm going really light. And now I'm going to actually switch to my yellow, see how that works. And I want you to pay attention here that I'm overlapping my colors. That way it looks like they're blending into each other. Not looking too bad. Alright, for the outside, you're going to kind of do the same thing, but again, I'm going to be using cool colors for those. So I'm using the opposite colors on the color wheel. And you can go kind of nuts with this if you want to put some shapes out here. They don't have to actually be shadows, but I sort of want my colored pencil to match that permanent marker I used. And I could have easily just outlined with a colored pencil. But this is where you can start playing with some of those fun graffiti shapes we looked at. You know, they don't always just put an outline on things. Sometimes they'll put circles and all sorts of good stuff. In fact, I think I'm going to throw some blue circles in here. Let me pull that up a little bit so you can see. Throw some blue circle shapey things. Not really supposed to be anything, just fun abstractish shapes. And I'm going to color those in nice and solid. You don't have to have a blended shadow on everything. That's the fun part of graffiti. You can kind of break the rules. And you're just going to do that until your whole paper is full of graffiti goodness. And if you're not sure how things are going to look, I would definitely practice it on some practice paper first. Enjoy!